after kind of a crazy day on a train, half a day, we have finally made it to Slovenia. So we'll probably do something more in the morning, but just kind of want to find our Airbnb now. So at least we made it.
Yay! Good morning from Ljubljana. We were going to spend the day doing some walking tours, but circumstances make it so that we're going to go to Lake Bled first.
Well, after a foggy morning drive to get out here to Bled, we have made it to the Vintgar Gorge walk. So yeah, looking forward to checking out the beautiful scenery, what all the hubbub's about getting out here. But it sounds like it'll actually be closed here in the next few days, so we're pretty lucky to make it out when we did, I guess. So both for the beautiful sunny weather and the gorgeous views. So yeah, looking forward to this path.
To get to Vintgar Gorge from Lake Bled, you either have to walk, you have to get a bike, you can get a taxi, or you can get a shuttle. There's no real bus services, and so we got a shuttle. And I knew that they only worked through October, but talking to our shuttle guide, the gorge actually closes October 31st, which is tomorrow. And tomorrow actually is a holiday, so it's not even open tomorrow. So we kind of lucked out to be here because I didn't know the gorge closed. Our shuttle driver said that years ago, before the pandemic going on, there would be just tourists, and this place was so busy, and you would walk through the path and then you would turn around and go back. And these paths are not very wide, so I can't imagine trying to fit thousands of people through here. It was kind of good that we're here on one of the last days. So after you go through the gorge, because you can't go back the way you came, there's this lovely path that's going to take us to a church, and that's where our shuttle bus is going to pick us up. And supposedly it's a lot of uphill, but I mean, we were just in a valley, so that totally makes sense. But it is just so freaking beautiful right now. The fall has just been following us for the last couple of months, and it's pretty cool. Another hill, Mike.
We have made it to the end of the trail for the gorge and are now just waiting a little bit before our van comes and picks us up to take us back to Lake Bled proper. And just a wonderful, beautiful trail. Got a little chilly down at the bottom, of course, but that's kind of expected this time of year, but not overly so.
You warm up a lot going up the hill. So.
Yeah, but yeah, you got to come out of the gorge, of course, and so that means you're walking uphill pretty much for the entire 30 minutes getting out. So yeah, beautiful walk. Highly suggest if you're out in Slovenia, in this area, to come check it out.
Yep. And now we're going to, like Mike said, when we get back to Lake Bled, we're going to go to the lake, maybe take some pictures, walk around a little bit, and then we'll catch our public bus back to the city. The island at Lake Bled is the only natural island in Slovenia.
Another fine morning in Slovenia, and we are on our way to a walking tour, which is what we were planning on doing yesterday, but things got changed, so we're gonna do it right now.
So Ljubljana supposedly is the cleanest capital in the EU, and they have specific trash cans everywhere for organics, plastics, glass, trash. So you have to be very specific, no littering, follow the rules. Big tour group today. So the architect styles here are very interesting. On one side of the river you have mostly Baroque. It's the older side of the city, and on this side of the river you have mostly Art Nouveau, because there was an earthquake in the early 20th century, and so they had to rebuild, and they built in the Art Nouveau style. So we're at St. Nicholas's church, and this is one of the front doors, and it's kind of a history of Slovenia. So you start at the bottom, when they first started to be, you move up, and you have the tectonic knights coming in, and the Ottoman Empire stealing children. You move up farther, you have the national books. You move up more and you have people walking away. That represents the bad things that happened in the 20th century, and then you have people walking towards, which is the good things and the hope. And at the top, of course, you have John Paul II, who first recognized Slovenia as a country.
Decided to pick up a snack on our way out this morning to the castle and various other couple spots we're going to visit this morning. The Barrette, I guess is what it is. Not entirely sure what's out of made of, but we could only get the pizza today, but it tastes very good. It's very cheesy.
Yeah, it's only like €2.50, so an easy warm snack. So we're in the Metelkova art district of Ljubljana, and this is basically an area for street art, for some art museums, for cafes. Today is All Saints Day, so a lot of things are closed, but we're just going to check out the area. Because the castle is in such disrepair, they had to do a lot of restoration work. And so this part is where you come up from the funicular, and it's got both original rock formation, but then a really good representation of the metal scaffolding holding it up. So a really good way to mix new and old. We made it to Predjama Castle. We only paid for the funicular up and down. We didn't actually pay for the museums or the guided tours, but there's a lot of different options you have if you do come here. If you do just do the funicular up and down, it's free to see St. George's Chapel, which is behind us. There's a little exhibit on prisoners. This castle was never really used as a home for anybody, but during the 19th century it was definitely used as a prison, and then during World War II there were a number of Italian POWs that stayed here After that, it kind of became in disrepair, and then I think in the 1960s, the government came and re-repaired it. So now it's one of the biggest tourist attractions in Ljubljana. So even though this is a nice Airbnb, it doesn't come with a laundry. So when you gotta do laundry in a sink, you gotta do laundry in a sink. Today we're going to be doing a day tour to the Postojna area. There is a cave and castle we're gonna visit. Hopefully it should be a good time.
One thing I want to mention is that we're taking a bunch of pictures and videos, but it honestly just doesn't do justice for how big this place is. It's so huge.
So to help with the water issues that they have here, they would carve divots in the wall so that the water would go into the divots and naturally go into the drainage that they've made.
Christy and I just got done going through the castle fairly quickly, as we're short on time on this end of our tour, which is fine. I mean, there's ultimately not a lot to see, but there's a lot to see.
The inside had the walls of the cave, so that was a very interesting part of it.
Mm-hmm. The cave and the castle that kind of come together really well to form awesome looking rooms. Like a lot of castles here in Slovenia, used just for rich families, other people trying to escape other noble families, used for various different things, this particular castle. Lots of crazy caverns and caves that they don't even know how many rooms are in the back of the cave system there because there were so many. Ultimately, a fun day. I mean, I really enjoyed the cave system. I think that that's something everybody should check out when they get here to Slovenia. That's one of them. There's a few that you can visit, I guess. Coming to this castle, I think it was definitely worth it.
So if you come here in the summer, you're going to be able to do this a little more budget friendly. We had to do a specific tour, which honestly is just a guide taking us on a taxi and dropping us off and handing us our tickets. But in the summer, you can do this a lot more easily on yourself and a lot cheaper. But there are people everywhere. We talked to our tour guide in the cave, and she said they have an average of 1 million people in the summer. And our group was maybe, 20 people?
Something like that.
You really didn't run into anybody. In the summer, the groups are about 75, 100 people. So even though we're paying more now because it's not a convenient time to come, and so we have to buy a tour to go, having this entire open area to ourselves, it definitely makes it worth it. And
yeah.
It's beautiful. It's fall. It's gorgeous here. Good morning. On my way to the Museum of Ethnographic History and Culture today. Check that out. Ljubljana is known for its having some amazing museums, and I would do a disservice to not at least go see one of them.
driving through Bled, our tour guide explained that you'll see a lot of these structures all over the place, and we really did. And what they are is they're for drying hay. And because they're known for Slovenia, you're not allowed to tear them down. You have to keep them as they are and in repair as much as you can. It's very much part of their culture. This museum has so many things to look at. A lot of interactive screens. So this is different stamp designs for cloth. Very cool. In addition to having information just on Slovenia and the culture and the history of the people, there's also an entire floor basically on humans. Not much of it is in English, but you can basically find the gist, you know. We are born, we have families, we eat, we get married, we travel. Why do people travel? It's a very interesting exhibit that they have going on here. Well, that was a good activity. A lot of great exhibits, a lot of things to see, a lot of things to interact with, and I definitely recommend coming here and seeing it.
Hello.
Throw the stick, Michael.
Hello. So it's our last day here in Slovenia.
I think we both really enjoyed our time in Slovenia here, even though we really only experienced a couple of its many things you can visit, including the main city of Ljubljana, and going out to Lake Bled, and then as well as visiting one of the major caves systems, and then visiting castle as well.
There's so much more to do here.
There
There's
is
so much hiking you can do, and more caves. And
Yep. And again, as you'll notice, probably as if you watch a lot of our Balkan videos at this point, you'll notice that we're here at a low tour time. And so not a lot of tour buses. In general, transportation's really slowed down as far as to get out of the city. So, you know, earlier we had to get a private van to even be able to get out to the cave and the castle. And so it's a little bit more expensive, but it's the trade of being able to then have less tourists. So at the same time, we're kind of experiencing a lot of things without a lot of elbow-to-elbow issues.
which is great during the pandemic. You know, you don't really want to be in a van with 11 other people. You kind of want to be on your own.
Yeah. Overall, really enjoyed the city. It's a beautiful downtown old city. Really outside of that, I think it's maybe a couple days worth of visiting as far as the main city of Ljubljana. And there's tons of museums. So if you're into museums, of course, there's tons of museums as there is as many old towns of Europe.
The people have been super great. They're very friendly. As you meet people or hosts or anything like that, everyone's very nice and very attentive. The nature really though is a good reason to come here. There's mountains all around you, lakes and rivers, and there's honey everywhere. This is a big honey area.
A lot of forest. In fact, they're growing forestry. They're replacing more than what they're actually taking from the forest, which is interesting. So their forests are actually growing. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, it's one of those kind of hidden gem countries that not many people think to go to, maybe because they can't say the word Ljubljana. Which, don't worry, it took us till probably about day 2 of being here before we could probably say it properly without being too scared. Overall, really enjoyed our time, and we're excited to move on to our next location.